I had my daughter on a Tuesday in March. By Friday, my sister was staying in our guest room to help. By the following Monday, my husband was keeping a journal. I didn't know about the journal for 3 months. The postpartum depression came on like weather. That's the only way I know how to describe it. One day I was fine. The next day everything was gray and I couldn't remember why any of it mattered. Not the baby, not my marriage, not whether I ate or showered or answered my phone. My sister Emma made me tea every morning. She'd sit on the edge of my bed and say, "How are you feeling today?" With her head tilted like a therapist. I'd say tired, and she'd write something on her phone. I thought she was texting. I didn't think about it. My husband, David, worked from home those first few weeks. He'd always worked from home, but now he was always there. In the nursery when I was feeding the baby. In the doorway when I was changing her. Standing behind me when I was trying to cook something. Anything, just to feel normal. "You should rest," he'd say. "Emma can handle dinner. I want to cook. You're exhausted. Let Emma do it." And I was exhausted, so I did. The baby's name is Claire. She had colic. She screamed for hours, and nothing I did helped. Emma would take her from me after 30 minutes and say, "Let me try," and sometimes Claire would quiet down, and sometimes she wouldn't. But either way, Emma would look at David, and David would look at his phone, and I started to feel like I was failing some test I didn't know I was taking. My OB had prescribed Zoloft. I took it. It didn't work immediately, and I told David that, and he said, "Are you sure you're taking it every day?" "Yes, because I found one in the bathroom trash. I dropped it. I took another one." "Okay," he said it soft. Like he didn't believe me but didn't want to argue. I started taking my pill at the kitchen counter in front of him every morning. He stopped asking. Emma stayed for 6 weeks. When she finally said she had to go back to her apartment, back to her job, I felt something loosen in my chest. I thought I'd feel relieved when it was just me and David and Claire again. I didn't, because David had changed. He started asking me questions in this careful voice. "Did you remember to call your mom back?" I'd answer, and he'd pause, and then say, "Okay, good," like he'd been worried I'd lie. One night I asked him, "Why are you talking to me like that?" "Like what?" "Like I'm a problem you're managing." He looked hurt, actually hurt. "I'm worried about you. You've been so distant. I have postpartum depression. I'm on medication. I'm doing everything the doctor said. I know. And I'm proud of you. I just want to make sure you're okay." I didn't have an answer to that. Because I wasn't okay. But I was trying. Emma came back 2 weeks later. "Just for the weekend," she said. "I miss you guys." She stayed for 9 days. She and David started having these quiet conversations in the kitchen after I went to bed. I'd hear their voices, low and serious, and I told myself I was being paranoid. They were probably talking about me. Of course they were. I was depressed and barely functional and they were trying to help. But then I'd come downstairs and they'd stop talking. "Do you need something?" Emma would ask. "Just water." "I'll get it. I can get my own water, Emma." "I know. I just thought never mind." She'd smile. She'd get out of my way. And I'd fill my glass and feel like I'd just failed another test. The journal. I found it in July. I wasn't snooping. I was looking for the insurance paperwork for Claire's for-month checkup, and David said it was in his desk drawer, and I opened the drawer. And there it was. A black moleskin notebook. I opened it because I thought it might be notes for work. The first page was dated March 28th, 3 days after Claire was born. "Wife refused to get out of bed today. Sister had to feed the baby all morning. When I suggested she try, she started crying and said she couldn't do it." I read the whole thing standing there. Every day. Every conversation. Every time I couldn't get out of bed. Every time Emma had to step in. Every time I cried or zoned out or handed the baby to someone else because I couldn't handle the screaming. All of it. Documented. And the handwriting changed halfway through. David's handwriting, then Emma's. Then David's again. They were taking turns. The last entry was from 2 days ago. Wife left the baby in the swing for over an hour while she stared at her phone. When I asked her what she was doing, she got defensive and said she was just sitting. Emma is concerned that wife is not bonding with the baby. We are considering next steps. I put the journal back. I closed the drawer. I went upstairs and took Claire out of her crib and held her while she slept. And I thought about the way David had been looking at me lately, the way Emma tilted her head. Considering next steps, I called my mom the next morning. I asked if she could come stay for a few days. She said yes. She was there by dinner. Emma left the day my mom arrived. She said something about not wanting to crowd the house. She hugged me and said, "Call me if you need anything." I said I would. David relaxed with my mom there. He stopped hovering. He went back to his office for full days instead of working from the living room. My mom didn't ask me if I was okay. She just started doing things. Laundry. Dishes. Cooking. She'd take Claire in the mornings so I could sleep, and she'd hand her back when she was hungry. And she didn't narrate my failures while she did it. One night she sat down next to me while I was feeding Claire and said, "You're doing fine." I started crying. "I don't feel fine." "I know. But you're doing it anyway. That's what counts." I wanted to tell her about the journal. I wanted to tell her about the way David and Emma looked at each other. But I didn't, because I didn't know what it meant yet. I needed to know what it meant. I waited until my mom went to bed. Then I went into David's office and opened his laptop. I knew his password. He'd never changed it. His email was open. I searched Emma's name. There were 40-3 emails between them in the last 4 months. I read all of them. The early ones were normal. "How's she doing today? Any better?" Then they changed. "I'm really worried about her. She's not herself." "I know. I don't think the medication is working. Should we talk to her doctor?" I tried. She got upset and said I was overreacting. And then, from Emma, "I've been doing some research. If she's not improving, and if she's putting the baby at risk, there are legal options. We might need to consider temporary custody." David's response: "I don't want to take the baby away from her, but I don't know what else to do. She's not getting better." "Emma Moe, you're not taking the baby away. You're protecting her. There's a difference." That email was dated May Shabbat 2 months ago. I kept reading. They had consulted a lawyer. David's college friend who practiced family law. They'd asked hypothetical questions about custody, about what evidence they'd need, about how postpartum depression would be viewed by a judge. The lawyer had told them to document everything. Daily logs. Witnesses. If possible, Hema had sent David a link to an article about parental fitness evaluations. David had forwarded it to his mom. His mom had responded, "Do what you need to do to keep that baby safe." I sat there for a long time. Then I closed the laptop. I went back upstairs and got into bed next to David. And when he rolled over and put his arm around me, I didn't move. I started planning the next morning. First thing, I made an appointment with my OB. Not the one who'd prescribed the Zoloft. A new one. I told her I wasn't getting better, that I needed something else. And she switched me to a different medication and referred me to a therapist who specialized in postpartum depression. I went to the therapist twice a week. I told her everything, not about the journal or the emails, just about how I was feeling, how hard it was, how scared I was that I wasn't good enough. She told me I was experiencing a normal response to abnormal circumstances. She gave me homework. Small things. Get outside once a day. Take a shower every morning. Spend 10 minutes doing something just for me. I did all of it. I started documenting it too. I took photos of myself with Claire. Timestamps visible. Me smiling. Claire smiling. Both of us at the park, at the pediatrician, at the grocery store. I kept a journal of my own. Every time I fed her, changed her, played with her, put her down for a nap. Every dose of medication. Every therapy session. I didn't tell David about the new doctor or the therapist. I scheduled the appointments while he was in meetings. I paid for them with a credit card he didn't check. My mom went home after 2 weeks. Before she left, I asked her if she thought I was a bad mother. She looked at me for a long time. No, she said. I think you're struggling. But struggling doesn't make you bad. What if someone thought I couldn't take care of Claire? Who thinks that? I didn't answer. She hugged me. She said, if anyone tries to take that baby from you, you call me. I don't care what time it is. I said okay. Emma came back in August. She texted David first. Can I come visit this weekend? I miss Claire. He said yes without asking me. She showed up Friday night with presents. A toy for Claire. Chocolate for me. She hugged me and said I looked good. That I seemed like I was doing better. I am, I said. I'm so glad. We were really worried about you. She stayed in the guest room. Saturday morning she came down while I was giving Claire a bottle and said, can I take a turn? I've got it. I know. I just love holding her. I handed Claire over. Hema sat on the couch and smiled down at her and said, David mentioned you're on a new medication. Is it helping? How did David know that? She blinked. He didn't. I just assumed. You seem better. I didn't tell him about the new medication. Maybe I'm misremembering. I thought he said something. She looked at Claire. You're getting so big, aren't you? Yes, you are. I went to the kitchen. David was making coffee. Did you tell Emma I switched medications? What? No. She just said you did. I didn't. I don't even know what you're on. I watched his face. He looked confused. Not guilty. Just confused. Okay. I went back to the living room. Emma was on her phone, taking a selfie with Claire. She saw me and smiled. For Instagram. Hope that's okay. Sure. She posted it an hour later. The caption said auntie time with my beautiful niece. So grateful to be part of her life. The comments filled up fast. Friends from high school, college, people I hadn't talked to in years. She's lucky to have you. You're such a good aunt. That baby loves you so much. I took a screenshot. Sunday afternoon, Emma said she needed to talk to me. We sat in the backyard while David watched Claire inside. I'm worried about you. I said. I'm fine. You say that. But I can tell you're still struggling. I have postpartum depression. I'm in therapy. I'm on medication. I'm doing everything right. I know. And I'm proud of you for that. But I think you need more help than you're getting. What kind of help? She looked down at her hands. Maybe some time away. Just a few weeks. Somewhere you can rest and really focus on getting better. You mean impatient? I mean whatever you need. I'm not leaving my daughter. It wouldn't be forever. Just until you're stronger. I looked at her. Really looked at her. She was wearing the concerned face. The tilted head. The soft voice. Did David put you up to this? No. I'm saying this because I love you. What? If you try to take my baby, I will destroy you. She froze. Then she laughed. It sounded nervous. I'm not trying to take your baby. I'm trying to help you. Good. Not you. I know that. Do you? She stood up. I think you're getting defensive. I'm just trying to have a conversation. We're done with the conversation. She went inside. I heard her talking to David. Low voices. His office door closing. I stayed outside for another 10 minutes. Then I went in and found them both in the office. What's going on? David looked up. Hema told me what you said to her. What did I say? That you'd destroy her if she tried to help. That's not what I said. Then what did you say? I said if she tried to take my baby, I'd destroy her, which is a normal thing for a mother to say. Emma made a small sound, like a gasp. I would never try to take Claire. Then we don't have a problem. David stood up. I think you need to apologize. For what? For threatening your sister. I didn't threaten her. I set a boundary. That's not how it sounded. Then maybe you should ask yourself why you're more concerned about her feelings than mine. I left the room. Emma left an hour later. She hugged David goodbye. She didn't hug me. After she was gone, David came upstairs and sat on the edge of the bed. I don't know what's happening with you, he said. I'm getting better. That's what's happening. You threatened your sister. I didn't. She's crying. She's upset. She thinks you hate her. I don't hate her. I just don't trust her. Why not? I almost told him about the journal, the emails, the lawyer. But I didn't, because I wasn't ready. I'm tired, I said. Can we talk about this tomorrow? He left. I waited until he was asleep. Then I took his phone from the nightstand and went into the bathroom. I knew his passcode for that too. He'd texted Emma after she left. I think she's getting worse. More paranoid. She accused you of trying to take the baby. Emma moaned. I'm scared for Claire. What if she snaps? David, I don't think she'd hurt her. But I don't know anymore. Emma, we need to do something. David. I know. Let me call the lawyer tomorrow. I took screenshots. I sent them to my own phone. Then I deleted the messages from his sent folder. I put the phone back. I went to bed. The next day I called the lawyer David had consulted. I didn't identify myself. I just asked if they did custody consultations. The receptionist said yes, they did. I asked if I could speak to someone about a hypothetical situation. She transferred me. The lawyer who picked up was a man. He asked what I needed. I said, if someone is using postpartum depression to build a custody case, what would that look like? Silence. Then are you asking as a potential client? I'm asking hypothetically. I can't give legal advice without. I'm not asking for advice. I'm asking what the process is. He hesitated. Then he said typically, the petitioner would need to prove that the custodial parent is unfit. That could involve documentation of neglect, mental health records, witness testimony. What kind of documentation? Journals, photos, videos if available. Statements from people who have observed the parent's behavior. What if the parent is in treatment? Seeing a therapist, taking medication, doing everything right? That would help their case. But if there's evidence that the child is in danger, the court might still intervene. At least. How temporary? Could be weeks, could be months. Depends on the evaluation. I thanked him and hung up. Then I called my own lawyer. I didn't have a lawyer. I'd never needed one. But I found one online who specialized in family law and who had good reviews from mothers who'd fought custody cases. Her name was Rachel Kim. Her consultation fee was $300. I paid it. She called me back that afternoon. I told her everything. The journal, the emails, the texts, the conversation with Emma. She listened without interrupting. When I was done, she said, "Do you have copies of all this?" "Yes." "Good. Don't delete anything. Don't confront them yet. Do you have somewhere safe you can go if they file?" "My mom's." "They serve you with papers, you call me immediately. Do not talk to them. Do not let them take the baby without a court order. What if they try? They won't. Not if they're smart. They'll go through the court, which gives us time. Time for what? To show that you're a fit mother, that you're compliant with treatment, that their case is bullshit. What do I need to do? Keep doing what you're doing. Medication, documentation. And I want you to start recording conversations. If they bring up custody, if they say anything about you being unfit, I want it on tape. Is that legal? Depends on the state. Where are you? I told her. 1 minus party consent. You're fine. Download a recording app. Keep your phone on you. And for God's sake, don't let them know you're onto them. I said, okay. She said, one more thing. Do you love your husband? I didn't know how to answer that. I did, I said. Do you now? No. Good. That'll make this easier. I downloaded the recording app that night. I tested it. David came home late from a meeting. I was feeding Claire in the nursery when he came in. How was your day? Fine. Busy. He stood there watching me. What? I talked to Emma. Okay. She thinks we should have a family meeting. The three of us. About what? About Claire. About what's best for her. I kept my eyes on the baby. What's best for her is staying with her mother. No one's saying otherwise. Then what's the meeting for? He sighed. Can we just have the conversation? Sure. This weekend. Emma's coming back. Okay. He left. I pressed stop on the recording. I sent it to Rachel. She called me an hour later. This is good, she said. He's being vague, but the intent is clear. When's the meeting? Saturday. Record the whole thing. Don't react. Don't argue. Let them talk. I want everything they say. Saturday came. Emma arrived at noon. She hugged David. She waved at me. We sat in the living room. Claire was in her bouncer. She was chewing on a toy and making the little noises that meant she was happy. David started. We want to talk about Claire's well-being, he said. I had my phone in my pocket. Recording? Okay. Emma leaned forward. We're worried about you. We know you're trying, but we think you might need more support than you're getting. I have support. I have a therapist. I have medication. I have my mom. We know. But we think Claire might need more stability right now. She has stability. David said, what Emma's trying to say is that we think it might be good for Claire to stay with someone else for a little while. Just until you're stronger. Stay with who? With us, Emma said. With me and David. We take care of her. You could visit whenever you wanted. It would just be temporary. I looked at David. You want to take my daughter. Not take. Just help. You'd still be her mother. I am her mother. Right now. Emma's voice went soft. We're not trying to hurt you. We're trying to protect Claire. From what? From the possibility that you might not be able to care for her. I am caring for her. You're doing your best. But your best might not be enough right now. I stood up. Get out. David stood too. Honey, get out of my house. This is my house too. Then Emma gets out. Emma's eyes filled with tears. I'm only trying to help. You're trying to take my baby. There's a difference. That's not fair. Get out. She looked at David. He didn't say anything. She left. After the door closed, David turned to me. You're being unreasonable. Am I? We're trying to do what's best for Claire. And you think what's best is taking her away from me. I think what's best is making sure she's safe. She is safe. You don't see yourself the way we do. How do you see me? He hesitated. Unstable, he said. I felt something cold settle in my chest. Get out, I said. This is my house. Then I'll leave. I picked up Claire. I went upstairs. I grabbed the bag I'd packed and hidden in the closet. David followed me. What are you doing? Leaving. You can't just leave. Watch me. If you take her, I'll call the police. I stopped. I turned around. On what grounds? That you're having a mental health crisis. That you're a danger to the baby. I'm not. I have documentation that says otherwise. There it was. What documentation? He didn't answer. David. What documentation? I've been keeping track. Of your behavior. Your moods. The times you couldn't handle her. You've been spying on me. I've been protecting my daughter. Our daughter. Not if you can't take care of her. I put Claire back in her crib. I walked past him. I went downstairs. I called Rachel. She picked up on the first ring. He just threatened to call the police if I leave with the baby. Did you record it? Yes. Send it to me. Now. I sent it. She called back 2 minutes later. Don't leave. If you leave, they'll say you're unstable and use it against you. Stay put. Go about your normal routine. Let him make the first move. What if he takes her? He won't. And if he tries, you call 911. You tell them your husband is attempting to kidnap your child without legal authority. Okay. How are you doing? I'm fine. No, really. How are you? I looked at Claire in her crib. She was staring at the mobile above her, tracking the shapes with her eyes. I'm angry, I said. Good. Use that. I stayed. He stopped talking to me, except to ask about Claire's schedule. Emma didn't come back. But the emails continued. I checked his laptop every night while he was asleep. They were talking to the lawyer again, planning their case. They had dates for when I'd been unable to function. Witnesses lined up. David's mom, a neighbor who'd seen me crying in the driveway once. They were going to file in 2 weeks. Frau Rachel said. Let them. I asked why. Because once they file, everything becomes evidence. Everything they've done, everything they've said, all of it goes on the record. And you have proof that they've been planning this for months. That they've been documenting you without your knowledge. That they've been coordinating behind your back to take your child. Will that be enough? To keep Claire? To destroy them? Maybe. I want to destroy them. I know. But one thing at a time. I kept recording. I recorded David on the phone with his mom, talking about how I was getting worse. I recorded Emma stopping by unannounced and asking David if he was ready to do this. I recorded the two of them in the kitchen, talking about how they'd explain it to Claire when she was older. How they'd tell her they did it because they loved her. I sent everything to Rachel. She said, they're building our case for us. They filed on September RD. A process server came to the door at 8 a.m. David answered. He took the papers and brought them to me. I'm sorry, he said. He didn't look sorry. I called Rachel. They filed, I said. I know. They copied me. Emergency custody hearing is in 3 days. 3 days? They're claiming you're in immediate danger. Don't worry, we'll be ready. She told me what to bring. Medical records, therapy notes, the photos. I packed it all. The hearing was in family court. A small room with fluorescent lights and a judge who looked tired. David and Demis sat on one side with their lawyer. I sat on the other with Rachel. Their lawyer went first. He painted a picture of a woman who couldn't cope, who'd been depressed for months, who'd neglected her baby, who'd threatened her own sister. He showed the journal. He read entries out loud. He called David to the stand. David talked about how hard he tried, how worried he'd been, how he'd watched me spiral. He cried. He actually cried. The judge asked if he believed I was a danger to Claire. He said, I don't think she'd hurt her on purpose. But I don't think she can take care of her. Not right now. She talked about all the times she'd had to step in. All the times I couldn't get out of bed. All the times she'd found me staring at nothing while Claire screamed. She said she loved me. She said she was doing this because she loved me. The judge asked if she'd be willing to take temporary custody. She said yes. She said she'd already set up a nursery in her apartment. The judge looked at me. Does your client wish to respond? Rachel stood. Yes, Your Honor. She started with the medical records, the diagnosis, the treatment, the medication changes, the therapy notes showing consistent progress. Then she showed the photos. Me and Claire at the park, at the pediatrician, at home. Then she played the recordings. The first one was Emma and David in the kitchen. Emma, when are you filing? David, next week. The lawyer said we have enough. Emma, good. I can't watch her destroy herself anymore, or put Claire at risk. David, she's going to be so angry. Emma, she'll get over it. Once she's better, she'll understand. The judge's expression didn't change. Rachel played the next one. David on the phone with his mom. We're doing the right thing. I know it's hard, but Claire deserves better than this. Then the one of David telling me I was unstable. Then the one where Emma suggested inpatient treatment. Rachel let them play all the way through. When they were done, she said, "Your Honor, my client is not an unfit mother. She is a mother with postpartum depression who has been gaslit and manipulated by her husband and her sister for months. They have documented her worst moments without her knowledge. They have coordinated a campaign to remove her child from her care." Their lawyer stood. "Objection. This is inflammatory. It's fact," Rachel said. "And we have proof." She submitted the emails, all of them. The ones about the lawyer. The ones about building a case. The ones about waiting until they had enough evidence. The judge read them. Then she looked at David. "Mr. Harrison, did you and your wife's sister plan to seek custody of your daughter before discussing your concerns with a medical professional?" David's lawyer whispered something to him. "We consulted with our physician," David said. "Which physician?" "Our family doctor." "And what did they recommend?" Silence. "Mr. Harrison," he said to keep monitoring the situation. "Did he recommend seeking custody?" "No." "Did any medical professional recommend that?" "No." The judge looked at Emma. "Ms. Chen, you stated that you set up a nursery in your apartment. When did you do that?" Emma glanced at her lawyer. "Last month." "Before these proceedings were filed?" "Yes." "Why?" "I wanted to be prepared." "Prepared for what?" Emma didn't answer. The judge sat back. "I'm going to be very clear," she said. Postpartum depression is a medical condition. It is not grounds for removing a child from a fit parent who is receiving treatment. What I see here is a mother who has been compliant with her treatment plan, who has been actively engaged in therapy, and who has been caring for her child to the best of her ability during an incredibly difficult time. What I also see is a husband and a sister who have taken advantage of that vulnerability to build a case that is, frankly, appalling." Their lawyer tried to object. The judge cut him off. "I'm not finished. The documentation you've submitted shows a pattern of surveillance and coordination that is, at best, deeply concerning. It constitutes harassment. The recordings submitted by Ms. Harrison show conversations that suggest this petition was filed not out of concern for the child's welfare, but out of a desire to remove her from her mother's care. I find no evidence that the child is in danger. I find no evidence that the mother is unfit. This petition is denied." David stood. "Your Honor." "Sit down, Mr. Harrison." He sat. The judge looked at me. "Harrison, I'm granting you sole physical custody of your daughter, effective immediately. Mr. Harrison will have supervised visitation pending a full custody evaluation. I'm also issuing a restraining order preventing Ms. Chen from any contact with the child for 90 days. Emma made a sound. The judge ignored her. We adjourned. She stood up and left. Rachel turned to me. "You okay?" I nodded. I didn't feel okay. I felt cold and sharpened like I might throw up. But I had Claire. That was all that mattered. David didn't look at me. He left with his lawyer. Emma tried to approach me in the hallway. Rachel stepped between us. "You heard the judge. No contact. I just want to talk to her." "No." "Please. I need to explain." "You explained enough in there. Leave." Her eyes were red. "I was trying to help you," she said. I didn't answer. She left. Rachel walked me to my car. "What happens now?" "Now you go home. You take care of your baby. You let me handle the rest." "What rest?" "The custody evaluation. The divorce. The restraining order violations when Emma inevitably tries to contact you." "You think she will?" "I know she will. She was right." "Please talk to me. I love you." I never wanted it to go this way. I didn't respond. She called. She texted again. "You're my sister. How can you shut me out like this?" I forwarded the messages to Rachel. Rachel filed a violation report. Emma got a warning. She stopped texting. David moved out the next week. He came to get his things while I was at my mom's. He took his clothes, his desk, his books. He left the journal. I found it in the trash. I kept it. The custody evaluation took 6 weeks. They interviewed me. They interviewed David. They interviewed my therapist, my OB, my pediatrician. They interviewed Emma. They did not interview David's mom after Rachel submitted evidence that she'd been coordinating with David and Emma. The evaluator's report came back in November. It recommended primary custody to me. Supervised visitation for David until he completed a co-parenting class. No contact with Emma. David's lawyer tried to negotiate. Rachel said no. We went back to court. The judge read the evaluation. She asked David if he had anything to say. He said he loved his daughter. He said he made a mistake. The judge said, "Mr. Harrison, you didn't make a mistake. You orchestrated a campaign to remove your daughter from her mother based not on her fitness as a parent, but on your own desire for control. That's not a mistake. That's a choice." She granted me primary custody. She gave David 4 hours of supervised visitation per week. She extended the restraining order against Emma to 1 year. David didn't appeal. He sees Claire every Saturday afternoon at a supervised visitation center. He brings her toys. He reads to her. He doesn't ask about me. Sent me a letter 2 months ago. It said she was sorry. It said she never meant to hurt me. It said she hoped someday I'd forgive her. I didn't respond. My mom asked me if I was going to. I said no. She asked why. I said, because she's not sorry she did it. She's sorry she lost. The divorce was finalized in February. I got the house. I got primary custody. I got child support. David got visitation and a very expensive legal bill. He's dating someone new. I know because Claire came back from a visit and mentioned Daddy's friend. I don't care. Emma moved to a different state. Oregon. I think. I heard it from my mom, who heard it from Emma's friend. I don't care about that either. I care about Claire. She's just a month old now. She's walking. She says mama and dog and no. She doesn't remember any of it. She won't. I will. But I'm okay with that. Rachel called me last week. She said Emma violated the restraining order. She showed up at my mom's house asking to see Claire. My mom called the police. Emma was arrested. She's facing charges. Rachel asked if I wanted to press it. I said yes. She asked if I was sure. I said. She tried to take my baby. I want her to remember that there are consequences. Rachel said okay. The hearing is next month. I'll be there. I think about David sometimes. About the man I thought I married. About whether he was always like this, or if something changed. I don't think it matters. He chose my sister over me. He chose a narrative over the truth. He chose wrong. I don't think about Emma much. When I do, it's with something close to pity. She wanted to be the hero in my story. Instead, she's a footnote. Claire and I have a routine now. We wake up. We have breakfast. We go to the park. We come home. We read books. We take naps. It's simple. It's enough. I still take my medication. I still see my therapist. I still have hard days. But they're mine. No one's documenting them. No one's building a case. No one's whispering in the kitchen about what's best for me. I'm doing that myself. People ask me sometimes if I'm angry. I tell them no. I'm not angry anymore. I'm free. That's better.